Coach, what did you like about your team from this performance of last two games?
I mean, obviously, winning games was a good thing. So, but I thought we got better, kind of from the break. So, about mid-December to now, I think we made some improvements and got better. And Thursday's game was really good. I mean, that team was a top 25 team in the country. I think they were 26 in the poll last week. Eastern New Mexico was, and then, like we said, if we didn't win Saturday's game, you didn't back up what you did Thursday. So, I thought our guys did a good job, played pretty well on Saturday.
Only one returner coming in this into this year, coming back from last year. How do you just feel about the team chemistry right now with everybody meshing together?
It's good. I mean, the guys seem to enjoy each other. It's fun to go in there and work with those guys every day. They've had good chemistry and play well together. We moved the ball good on Saturday. Had 22 assists. So, it's been pretty good. And that's part of being a good team is making sure that you care about each other and you like each other and you play for each other. And I think these guys have done that so far.
What makes you guys so hard to beat at home?
I think it's mentality is, hey, it's these guys have bought into that. Hey, we're at home. Good teams don't lose games at home. You almost have to protect at home. And again, I thought we had a good crowd. Both coaches have mentioned something to me on Thursday and Saturday about, hey, I didn't think that anybody would be here because of the break and things like that. Turned out we had a pretty good crowd both games. So I think that's helped. And again, we've played pretty well at home this year.
Two players I want to highlight, just Sebastian and Alex. Just talk about that dynamic duo and just what do they bring to your team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're different, but they're both really good. I mean, obviously Bastion's big and strong and athletic and scores on the post, but Alex Matthews is a matchup nightmare too because he can do so many things. He can shoot it, he can put the ball on the floor, he can post up a little bit, you can spread the floor, you can ISO him. So both of them are really high level players, and we knew when we signed those two that they both had a chance to be pretty good, and they have been so far.
So the team that similar success to your 2001-22 team, who was at 9-3 at this point of the year. How have you been able to have such success to start the season?
I think we've got good players. Number one, I mean, it's if you're going to win games, you got to have good players. And then you guys asked a question about the chemistry. I think that's the other part of it. You got to have good players, number one, but then you got to have kids that care about each other and things like that. We've been lucky so far that these guys are really fit. You can play different ways. You can put different lineups out there. There's not an ego. They all care about each other. It's going to be somebody different every night who's going to be your leading scorer. And I think they've kind of all embraced that. So I think those two things have led to kind of our good start is obviously having good players. And then the second aspect of it is they do have good chemistry and they care about each other and they play for each other.
What can you tell us about Lubbock Christian?
They're really good. I mean, they shoot over 50% from the field. I think they're the most efficient team offensively in our league and maybe in the country. They all can shoot it. All five guys can shoot it. So, I mean, you're really going to have to, five guys are going to have to be committed to guarding against them. I mean, they pick on your weak link, and if you don't guard, then your man's going to be open and make a shot. So they're really good offensively, and they've kind of been the class of the league along with West Texas over the last 4 or 5 years in the Lone Star Conference. So it'll be a good matchup, good game for us.
You mentioned that you think you've been seeing some improvement from mid-December to now. What are those specific areas where you think this team has taken a step forward?
I think offensively we've gotten better. I think we've become a better offensive team, and we got some guys that can shoot it and some guys scoring the post. And I thought we did a good job spreading the floor and being able to drive it on Saturday in particular. So I think that's an area. Defensively, I think we're getting better. I mean, there were a few possessions here and there we'd like back from Thursday, Saturday, but if you look at the conference, like we lead the league in points per game allowed. So we've allowed the least amount of points. So obviously that's a recipe for success too if you can do that. So I thought we cleaned up some stuff though, just offensively and some little things defensively with help and things like that over the last 3 weeks or so.
Coach, every team needs an enforcer on their team. Bastion just seems to be that fit that mold for you. But just how do you kind of hold them back just so it won't be a distraction?
But that's coaching. That's hard. Yeah. So I mean, he's been good so far. I want players to have some moxie about themselves. I want them to have a little swag about them, how they play, a little toughness. That's one thing I thought the last institution I was at for 7 years. People looked at us and we didn't have the resources and we didn't have the gym and stuff like that. But our guys kind of all play with a chip on their shoulder, and I feel like we've kind of got that enforced a little bit here. We got some guys playing with a chip on their shoulder. So I would rather, as a coach, I guess, be able to pull that back than not have a player that. I mean, like last year, we had some guys that man, you got no competitive fire about yourself. Like, we're going to play whoever, and you're not wanting to whip their tail. Like, now, you'd rather deal with that to where you can bring them back as opposed to try to push them along to where they do care. So.
So if you guys hit the road for your next 4 games, what do you need to do in order to have success at home on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this kind of the same mentality as we've had at home, like the expectation, hey, we've got to take care of business, we've got to win home games. It's got to be the same thing on the road. Obviously, 4 games on the road for anybody is tough, but in our league, on our side, it's really going to be tough. So I just kind of have the same mentality. We need to have the same good week of prep and get ready to go. We'll actually do a little bit more today than I've probably done all year long on the opposing teams, just trying to get ready to go just because it is different. But I think it's trying to have the same mentality as we had at home.
And speaking of being on the road, how is the team feeling right now about being on the road for next week?
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't really. I mean, after Saturday's game, I told them, we've done what we need to do as far as taking care of business at home. Now it's time to go on the road and pick somebody off here. I mean, we're not at a point where every game's win lose for us at this point, but we're at the point now where the next step in our team's progression is you go on the road and you beat a team like we're playing the next 3 or 4 games.
Coach, everyone likes playing at home, but some players and some coaches like to be on the road more. Just where do you like?
I mean, either way. So, I mean, the good teams that I've been around, it didn't matter where you were playing or what time you were playing or who you were playing, what time of day you were playing. It didn't matter. They just showed up and they competed. So, I mean, obviously, you like the comfort of being at home and the routine of being at home and things like that. But it's also, there's nothing better in sports than beating somebody at their own place and having all those people walk out after you beat them.
All in all, what would you say is the biggest difference from this season compared to last season in terms of the personnel that you have?
Well, we don't have enough time to sit here and talk about that probably. We've got way better players. We've got way better character. We've got, I mean, it's just night and day. If you do like statistically, like I did that at Christmas time, watched our games back and compared it to last year and things like that, I mean, we're almost every category you can mention in basketball, we're better at. So I think the simple answer is, hey, we have better players with better character that care more about the team. And I guess I shouldn't say that because we had some guys, DeJuan Jones last year and Keon that, Alvarez Powell that really, really did care about the team. But again, I think we've got more guys that are bought in this year.
Last question for me, just what are some boxes you want checked off in this road trip?
I mean, obviously we'd like to be able to steal 1 or 2 on the road here. I mean, that's the goal is, hey, to have a good week, you go on the road and you're able to pick off Lubbock Christian or West Texas, who are going to be top 25 teams in the country this week. I mean, West Texas was 4 maybe last week in the country, and Lubbock was right on the outskirts of getting votes. So, obviously just being able to go and play well, get better, and then have a chance to win one of these games here.